Corey, however, was not willing to concede so easily. Official rules? What a load of hurrah! And what about all the extra ropes? The unconventional, not to mention dangerous, practice of letting them fall rather than lowering them like you were supposed to, huh? How was that for respecting the sacred fruit? Corey railed, eyes growing larger with passion as his spittle flew. The twins were rolling with laughter, one of them quite literally. Cass now lay on the soft earth, lost in a dense patch of leafy vegetation near the base of the bleeding berry, one foot kicked out from the green that shook with his laughter. Paul was laughing too, despite his attempts to remain focused on pestering Corey, the latter of whom was beginning to transition into true anger under his frustration. The fun was over. A draw, I offered in compromise. The twins would agree. They knew when enough was enough. Paul had a scar on his left cheek to remind us all should we forget, a scar for which I was responsible, much to my regret. It had happened the year prior, during a spar. The four of us often sparred, for fun as well as study. It was good practice, essential to honing combative skill. Corey and I struggled to keep up with the twins. The two devils were fast, both wielding twin daggers and moving together with remarkable precision. They were incredible opponents, and we both thrived on the challenge of besting them. Humility was as much a lesson as combat efficiency, a lesson that would have saved Paul the nasty blow that left him that scar. Corey and I had foolishly engaged the twins in a friendly spar without the watchful eyes of the elders to interfere. The two were obnoxious as usual, but on this particular day they were notably more deviant. Their form and etiquette were fine enough in a spar, but their tongues were another matter altogether. The two were unmatched in their prowess, and they made sure to rub it in at every opportunity. Again and again our wooden replica weapons were parried and answered with a quick jab to the ribs or sharp poke to the gut or throat. All the while the twins would rail us with taunts and insults. This was nothing more than juvenile fun, until it became personal. On that day tensions escalated, and the competitive spar turned into a nasty scuffle. The twins fought back to back, splitting Corey and I apart. Corey was being forced back, further away from me as he desperately attempted to break free of Cass. I was left to face off against Pole. I was managing my own well enough, but gaining no ground one way or the other. Pole was barely trying, it seemed, playfully poking at me with a childish tongue, as another of my strikes missed wide. Oh dear, poor Creighton. He's 2 duds for students. He lunged at me following the insult. I quickly jumped back to clear his initial attack, and back yet again with his next 2 swipes. I lost my balance as I narrowly escaped the last jab and stumbled over a mass of vegetation. I fumbled for a solid step to regain my footing and fell back. I rolled to recover, landing on my feet with my guard ready. Pole laughed outright. Are you sure you want to do this? There are some wildlings down the way. Maybe they are a bit more on your level. I ran at him, replica raised over my head. I brought it down to my right side and swung wide when I got close, hoping to get lucky more than anything. He dropped to my left, kicking my legs out from under me and laying me flat on my back. Winded, I slowly moved to recover. Before I could stand, the end of a replica dagger poked at my cheek. Looking up, I peered into Pole's eyes. They glittered with a sinister joy. He snickered. Too bad your mom isn't still around to show you how it's done. It had been a compliment, really, but instead it had reached a hurt within me. Before I fully realized, I had grabbed hold of his wrist and with a strength unknown to me flung him to the ground before bringing my replica down across the left side of his face with a thudding crack. I was instantly horrified at what I had done. Pole's face was already bloodied when he cried out in pain. I had wounded my sparring partner, my brother and friend, Pole. I fled from the ordeal, climbing high into the canopy. I wanted to be far from the faces that looked to me in horror, wondering why I had done it. I hid in the silence of the high canopy. To wound a friend during training was shameful enough, but it was the surprise of it that had shaken me. I felt terrible. I returned to the village when I was ready to face what I had done. My father was waiting for me, but there was no lecture. Not then, anyway. The next day, Cass and Pole arrived with their father, Arkin. The 2 fathers had arranged for a hunting party, an overnight trip in hopes of opening hearts under the stars. Trips were common, typically focused around some of the more serious aspects of our training. It offered a chance to teach and practice the various skills that would serve both to keep us alive during the Aliote and care for the people of Reisenbow in the days beyond. This trip was different, however. There was an uneasy tension, though no one seemed angry with me in the slightest. The tension lessened over the course of the day, but followed into the evening after we made camp. By the light of the fire, the 4 of us were silent as our fathers pushed us into confronting the dilemma. At first, not a word was spoken, not even the banter of the twins, which was highly unusual. At last, my father broke the long and awkward silence. I miss her too, son. He caught me off guard. I was expecting a serious talk, but not about her. The tears swelled in my eyes almost instantly, and I looked down as if I were ashamed to have it seen. It's okay, Kael. None of us are here to judge. We are here because we are family. Arkin spoke reassuringly, with a soft rumbling voice. "The Devai have come to be strong warriors, but it is not the discipline of the sword, nor the precision of the arrow that gives us our strength. The strength of Rizabo comes from the heart. No warrior stands stronger than the one who stands with his brothers and sisters, his sons and daughters. No warrior is stronger than one who fights for this love. Share your heart with us, young brother." I wept in silence, listening to their words around the warm light of the crackling fire. Emotions can be tricky. How you feel will reflect upon your perception of the world. If you allow that perception to become clouded, you lose your ability to navigate the world around you. Memories of your mother are powerful for both of us, son. Remember, that is the power of love, deep and everlasting. Don't hold it back. Share it with the world. For love is so much greater than any one of us, and it's only when we forget this that it becomes painful. His voice broke a bit at the end. The fire crackled in the brief silence that followed. I looked up to see he had been crying for some time now, though he did not sound like it as he spoke. Even with tears shimmering down his unkempt beard, he still looked powerful. You cannot hope to overcome your feelings by ignoring them, Kael, especially ones as complicated as grief or love. Only hearts that know great joy can know great sorrow. You have to face this within yourself. Find the strength that lies beyond your sorrow.